Bradford City begin their 2025-26 League One campaign with a home clash against Matt Bloomfield's Wycombe Wanderers. If you do go on to enjoy today's video, please make sure to drop a like on there for me and subscribe to the channel as well. If you are new, can we try and hit 100 likes on today's video? And don't forget to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. Let me know down below your starting 11 for this match and what is your score prediction as well. Naturally, it is only game week 1, but for the sake of the structure of these match previews, we're currently 5th in the table after 0 games. We've got 0 wins, 0 draws, 0 defeats, 0 goals scored and 0 goals conceded. That leaves us, surprisingly, on a 0 goal difference and 0 points. In terms of how our pre-season went, we recently had a 1-0 win away at Oldham Athletic, a pretty boring game that does kind of happen quite a lot with your final pre-season matches, but nice to see Stephen Humphreys get himself on the score sheet once again. We also had a 2-0 win at home to Middlesbrough. This was a really good performance for the large part. Middlesbrough did play their first team in this one. You've got £25-30 million valued Hayden Hackney in the midfield up against Tommy Lee, and we played very well in this game. Obviously Anthony Sarsfield converted the penalty very well, and Will Swan made it to literally about 5 seconds before the full-time whistle was blown, but the press for that second goal was very good, and that gave us a lot of promising signs coming in to this match against Wycombe. We also had a 7-1 win against Steyr. Obviously it was meant to be against SV Reed's reserve team, and eventually that got cancelled the day before, but we battered them. The standard of this Austrian team that we played clearly wasn't particularly high, but it was nice to obviously see a lot of goals be scored in pre-season. I remember the days when we got battered by Harrogate Town. Was it about 7 or 8-2 that day? We also had a 0-0 draw away at Chorley. It was about 30 plus degrees when this game was being played. It was absolutely boiling, so no doubt and no surprise really that we didn't really kick into gear until the second half when the sun had officially set and all that sort of stuff, because obviously it was a Friday night, but not really a lot to write home about in that one. We had a lot of chances in the second half, but did look a little bit toothless. And we started out pre-season with a 1-0 win away at FC United of Manchester. Always nice to start out pre-season with a win. It was a trialist who scored the only goal of that game. It was a pretty even affair. Not really a lot going on, but it's pre-season. There's not really a lot to talk about here. Compared though to Wycombe Wanderers, who sit bottom of the table at this moment in time, obviously 0 games played. Same to us, 0 wins, 0 draws, 0 losses, 0 goals scored and 0 goals conceded, which leaves them obviously on 0 goal difference and 0 points. Their pre-season, they recently had a 2-2 draw away at Tottenham Hotspur. Obviously Spurs massively did dominate the stats. Wycombe only had 2 shots on target in the entire game, but to go away to Tottenham and pick up a 2-2 draw when Spurs are putting out a very good starting 11. Yes, it's not full strength, but there's a lot of first teamers in there. I think Wycombe do deserve a lot of credit for that. Obviously, they did go with pretty much, I would assume, their full strength side in this game. Before that one, they had a 1-1 draw away at Barnet. Again, I wasn't at this game, so I can't really go into too much detail about it when there's no statistics there. They also had a 3-0 win away at Cheltenham. Always nice to win your pre-season matches and score goals. And they also started out pre-season with a 1-0 defeat away at Sutton. I'm a bit confused as to why their first game is in the middle of July, because going back before that is their playoff semi-final second leg defeat away at Charlton. I watched this game. It was the worst game of football I have ever seen, but on the whole, I would say Wycombe are a well-established, good League One side. They had a great campaign last season, and it's going to be a really tough match. Let's move on then to my starting 11 for this game against Wycombe. Obviously, we've got a fair few injuries, a couple of unavailabilities as well for different reasons. So this is the best available team that I believe Bradford City have got based on what I've seen in pre-season and last season as well. I would certainly stick with the 3-4-2-1 formation. I feel like until Andy Cook even is close to returning from injury, will definitely play the 2 number 10s and a lone striker as well. In goal, I would go with Sam Walker. I feel like he's probably just our best goalkeeper. We saw Joe Hilton, I think, play a full 90 minutes against the Austrian reserve side, or whatever it was, the 4th division team. They weren't a particularly great standard, and Hilton made some decent saves. Obviously, that was the only goal of pre-season that we conceded, and I just feel like he's kicking. He looks a little bit nervous at times, and I think Sam Walker is definitely the number 1 as of right now. In terms of my back 3 then, at right centre-back, I would start Matt Pennington. Obviously, Aidan Baldwin is suspended for this game. He'll be back for Northampton next week. week. But Pennington, based on what I've seen in pre-season, I think he's been the only signing which hasn't stood out so far. I think at times he's looked a little bit weak in the duel. His passing and dribbling ability hasn't been amazing, but it's only pre-season and some players come alive when the season does start, and hopefully that clip of Dan Udoh saying he's going to give him some is going to motivate him for this game. We have looked very well organised in pre-season, I would certainly say that, and it's probably going to be an entirely new back three for this game against Wycombe. In the middle, I would start Joe Wright. I think he's looked very solid in pre-season, wins a lot of his duels, I think he's great, very rarely loses an aerial battle. Not the quickest and not the most amazing on the ball, but when you're playing in the middle of the back three, I don't think that matters all too much. We saw last season with Paul Huntington doing that job. I don't think that's something that's going to concern us all too much, and I feel like we're going to need his physicality if they do start somebody like a Dan Udoh or a Richard Kone up top. And at left centre-back, I would go with Curtis Tilt. Obviously, Kieran Kelly is unavailable through injury, and Tilt for me has not only surprised me, but I think he surprised a lot of Bradford City fans at the time. You look at Bradford City signing a 33-year-old centre-half on a 2-year deal from a team who've largely been a mid-table League 2 side. There was a lot of question marks raised, but in pre-season he looked very good, very aggressive in the way that he plays, always puts his body on the line, puts his head in where it hurts. There is going to be times at this season where I think we're going to get frustrated with him, where he picks up needless yellow cards, or he's even going to get a few red cards as well, because I think that's just his game. He's very, very aggressive in the challenge, but again, with Dan Udoh saying he's going to give him some, sure, that's only going to motivate him to have a good game and a good proper debut, a competitive debut in front of the Bradford City fans. In terms of my midfield four then, at right wing back, I would go with Josh Nerfville. He has definitely come in to start, and I think based on pre-season, he has certainly made that position his own. He's looked very good down the right hand side, very athletic, very pacey, can certainly deliver a ball into the box as well. I would bet a lot of money on him finishing as our top assister this season if he does stay fit. I feel like he will definitely come in and displace Brad Halliday, so he starts for me at right wing back. In the middle, first I would go with the captain at Max Power. It feels very weird saying the captain and not saying Richie Smallwood, but Power has come in and I think will definitely be a starter this season. I think he's probably going to start every game when he is available. Does that Richie Smallwood job, what he did last season, I think he's going to do it in League 1. Will Max Power just a little bit better than what Smallwood did in League 2. Plenty of experience, a couple years younger as well. Set pieces look great. Never shuts up on the football pitch, which I think is very important for a captain, and Max Hall for me absolutely has to start in this game. And partnering him, I would go with Jensen Metcalf. Now, Metcalf obviously only signed for the club last week, played his first pre-season game against Oldham where I think he got around 65 minutes, but with Alex Patterson not playing in that game against Oldham, he had some sort of, I think, inflammation in his Achilles. I'm not entirely sure if he's going to be available for this game, and obviously when he's not been training, then playing the most recent game, I don't think it would be wise to start him in this one. I'd still have him included in the matchday squad, but obviously I'm not the physio, I don't know what his actual situation is, so I'm going best case scenario, I think I'd have Patterson on the bench. And Metcalf, obviously a great player, was flying into challenges against Oldham, technically looks pretty decent. Yes, he's still on the 20, so he is going to make mistakes, but that's going to happen this season. We're a League 1 club, there's not as much pressure this season as what there has been for the last 6 or 7 years in League 2, so if a player makes a mistake, it's not the end of the world. At left wing back, I would go with Ibu Toure. I think again, he's certainly come in to start for Bradford City, and he's looked very, very good defensively. Going forward, his crosses have been a little bit hit and miss at times, but we knew that when obviously he signed from Stockport County, but I think he's certainly going to come in, start, plenty of experience, played over 40 games last season for Stockport, he finished third, so he's definitely going to play in this one for me. In terms of my two attacking midfielders, firstly I would go with Anthony Sarcevic. I feel like in pre-season he's not been amazing, but I don't really think that's Sarce's game. He's never really struck me as the type of person to shine in pre-season. He'll shine when it matters. When the competitive fixtures are playing, that is where he is going to come alive. And obviously there's more competition in the team this season, but when Sart is fit and available, we all saw how good he was last season. Even though he played in less than half of our league matches last campaign, when he was fit, when he was available, plenty of goals, plenty of assists, plenty of quality on the ball as well. And I feel like he's going to want to prove a lot of people wrong that he can also do it in League 1. He's not just a League 2 promotion specialist, he's a very good League 1 footballer as well. As my left winger, I would start Stephen Humphries. I think obviously with him coming in from Barnsley is probably our top earner. He's definitely come in to play, to start, and I hope we play him on the wing. We've played him a lot as a striker in pre-season. I don't think we've really seen the best out of him, in all honesty. I feel like when he's played as a left winger in the limited minutes that he's had in that position, I think he's looked much better, and Barnsley fans have said he's much better as a left-sided attacker rather than as a striker, and he's said himself he doesn't want to play as a striker, so it'll be interesting to see how we do line up on Saturday. But Humphries, for me, I think definitely should start. Obviously, he's scored a couple of goals in pre-season, and as my striker, I would go with Will Swan. I think, again, with him getting a couple of goals in pre-season, I think one against Middlesbrough and one out in Austria, he's looked very good. He's led the line very well. I've obviously been a big fan of Will Swan for a number of years, with him getting double figures for goal contributions in just over 30 starts last season in League One. There's clearly a very good player in Will Swan, and I do hope it is Humphries on the left and Swan through the middle. I don't want to see it the other way around, because I just don't think it gets the best out of them. We've seen when Swan plays as a striker, he is much more effective, so please just play him there, Graham. On the bench then for me, that would leave Joe Hilton, Brad Halliday, Lewis Richards, Alex Patterson, Tommy Lee, Bobby Poynton and George Lapsley. We are a little bit light on numbers at this moment in time. The players currently unavailable are Aidan Baldwin through suspension. He should be back though for next Saturday against Northampton. Neil Byrne, who obviously picked up that knee injury against Middlesbrough, and he's going to be out for around 2 months or so. Kieran Kelly has a groin problem. Tariq Wright has a quad problem. Callum Kavanagh is going to miss the first game of the season with a shin injury. And obviously Andy Cook's still recovering from his ACL injury. I think he'll be back in 2 or 3 months or so, but we certainly don't want to be rushing him back from that type of injury. The players who miss out then through selection will be Zach Hadey, George Goodman, Clark Adore, Adam Wilson, Tyler Smith and Harry Ibbotson. I should stress I'm recording this on Tuesday the 29th of July, so if any players have been signed or have left the club since that day, then I do apologise, but I'm kind of having to get ahead on certain videos. But that is my match preview. If you want to check out my score prediction for this game, head over to More SHD. I've done a full list of League One score predictions, so hopefully you have all enjoyed. Please make sure to drop a like on there for me if you have, and subscribe to the channel as well if you are new. 100 likes, as I mentioned at the start of today's video, would be massively appreciated. And don't forget to get your score predictions and starting 11 in down in the comment section down below. Thank you all for watching. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you very soon for another one.